Yeah. Bunny, you can't come. I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've begun our initial descent. Please remain seated.
Hi, we're in Boston. We just got here last night. Today is going to be exciting and probably exhausting because in just a few minutes we are heading over to the Brattle bookshop to meet the one, the only, the legend, Steve Donahue. We are staying in Back Bay. It is beautiful. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. However, it's going to be a little bit more crowded than we were anticipating because the Boston Marathon is on Monday. I can't say that I was aware of that, and I probably should have researched that. So today we're gonna do some walking around. We're gonna hang out with Steve. He's gonna show us a little bit of the city since he is a walking encyclopedia. And then after that, we're probably gonna hang out for a little bit and then go out and have a fancier dinner with friends, which is going to be really exciting. This whole trip is really exciting. I've been really looking forward to this. So, see you at the Brattle. I like the backdrop. It's like
we're not going.
Is it always this busy, or is this symptomatic of the marathon?
This is marathon weekend, yeah. This is hordes of people from out of town. Sure, yeah.
You should have told me that I was an idiot.
I didn't even put two and two together until
Yeah,
closer
me
to the
neither.
day. Crap. No, it ordinarily wouldn't be, lines of people walking. Hordes of people.
Yeah.
Hordes of people.
And here I thought I picked a good weekend.
You did. It's Boston in its most festive mood. This is Boston's one international day. It's one international weekend. This is the one weekend of the year where Boston is a world city.
And it's normally not?
It's usually just a stately old lady U.S. city, but not a world city. Here, people from Somalia are here. People from all the old republics of the Russias are here.
Including Olive.
Including Olive, yes. Anybody with any interest in marathons, this is the one to do. This is the New York City Marathon is table level compared to ours. I suppose I could even get you into the Athenaeum. We don't like non-members.
Too many of them.
An exception could be made. For Olive, an exception will always be made. Now we cross from Boston Common into Boston Garden. Oh, and I was wrong. The swan boats are out.
Fantastic. Oh, nice.
This is the famous pond with the little island in it from Make Way for Darkness with the swan boats.
Oh, look.
Well, this is beautiful,
Yeah.
albeit very crowded.
It's a little crowded. But
Just a
it's
touch.
beautiful.
Hello again. I am now at Steve's house
Hyde Cottage.
at Hyde Cottage. Some time has passed because I'm the worst vlogger in the history of vloggers. But we made it here. You didn't see the process, but just trust me, we made it here. And Steve has suggested that we do a tipsy interview, meaning that Steve is going to interview me. I'm not convinced I'll have anything to say, but I guess we'll see. Good luck.
You know perfectly well that you want to ask her questions, and you have for years. And I'm here to help.
For years. Just two.
You've been watching her forever.
Just two.
Look at the size of your following. They love you. It's about time that somebody asks you some questions. Don't you think?
I did a Q&A.
That's not the same thing. You're in ruthless czar-like control of a Q&A.
I'm still in control of this.
The Bolsheviks never let go. Shall we start?
No.
Good. So tell me what your thoughts are about BookTube. What is it? What is BookTube?
Well, there are many facets of it.
What do you like most about it?
People who love books, who aren't able to meet fellow book lovers,
Not face to face.
not face to face. It's very, very hard as an adult to make new friends. You have your friends from childhood, you have the people you meet at work, you have people you've bumped into.
There's that work word again.
I work with bros because I work in finance.
No readers.
Not that I've met so far. Wonderful people.
But you get a lot of that on your channel. You get a lot of people saying, oh my god, this is great to talk about this with you.
Yes, yes. Because it's hard to find, because we would rather be at home reading. So that's what we do, is we stay at home reading. So it can be difficult, but I've met so many people through BookTube, including yourself, that I've had a connection with, that I can have an intelligent conversation with, who are of simultaneously a similar and different mindset.
Similar and different.
Yes.
That's nice to know that's out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Alright, so you're going to need to take a sip for the next question. What don't you like about BookTube? Just in general terms. Where do you think BookTube can improve? To use Principal Skinner language. That's good, but needs improvement. Where can BookTube improve? What are its shortcomings? Not naming any names, mind you. That's a whole nother video.
That's the after hours.
Yes, that's
This
the
isn't
after hours video.
hours.
It's subscriber only, and there's no subscriber list. What are in your opinion? What are its shortcomings?
I think everyone could have a little bit more courage to be an individual. That we don't always have to be doing
Still too much bandwagon jumping.
a little bit. It's a little bit too much. Everyone's reading this book. I want to join in on it. And I understand that emotion.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone wants to be in on the conversation of something big that's happening, and no one. It's much easier to do that than it is to start your own conversation
Yes.
about the books that fewer people are reading.
So new booktubers might not feel secure
Yes.
saying, no one's ever heard of this book, but I liked it.
Yes.
Or everyone loves this book and I hate it.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I think there's less room for honesty because people do want to be liked. They come on BookTube because they potentially want a following and people to subscribe to them. It's a natural thing to want. I don't see anything
They're
wrong
worried
with
about
that.
endangering it.
Yes. Yes.
And your advice would surely be,
Not necessarily
worry
the
about that.
opposite. It's just be a little bit more concerned with who you are first.
was that your experience? That when you were honest about who you were and what you liked, you gained a following?
I wouldn't know any other way. Because
But it worked for you.
Eventually. Not right away, though. Not right away. I was very unknown until someone noticed me, Vanessa from Chbosky. And we were complaining about if on a winter's night a traveler, which is postmodern garbage.
No argument here.
And
Although I have to like the basic premise. Nobody likes being interrupted while they read. But still, no argument here. You could write a coherent novel about it. It wouldn't kill you. Anyway. So you found that kind of community.
I found
And it
that.
worked.
Yes. Yeah. I was doing it for maybe 4 or 5 months before anyone cared. And I was doing it because I thought it was fun.
But you've had success at it now, right?
Now I
Many
have.
thousand subscribers. That's a success. Has that changed the way you do it?
No.
No.
I don't think so. I mean, you've been watching me since I don't even know when. I don't know if you
A long
can
time.
remember when.
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to ask you, because many people find you thanks to your reviews as one of their first booktubers. How does that feel?
But they don't tell me when they do. Normally, there have been a few exceptions to that, but
You
I
know
can't
that
know
it
that.
happens. You know that.
I
it
don't
happens.
think
You have all
about
those
it.
videos out there.
I do, but I don't think about it.
So how do you think about BookTube?
I think about it
What
as a,
space does it occupy in your life? You have a job, you have a life,
yes, and yes.
and you have BookTube.
yes.
What place does it occupy?
An important one. An important one where it's a life that runs parallel to the professional life I have.
A book life.
A book
It's
life.
discussions that you don't get in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Because so many people on BookTube, that's true for them. That's why they join, because they don't have that discussion in real life.
No, I don't have the kind of discussions I have on BookTube
Mm-hmm.
in real life. I don't have the type of people that I have on BookTube that I have in real life. Not that the people that I have in real life, not that they aren't wonderful, but it's not the same. It's not intellectually the same. And I need that.
And what about BookTube itself? The people on BookTube, who are the losers? The lepers. I mean the real lepers. The ones.
I mean, I could say
the
you,
ones
but
who-
I'm already here.
Do you take, when you watch BookTube channels, do you take recommendations?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
I wouldn't have read Margaret the First and then gotten it tattooed on my shoulder.
Okay, it doesn't get much more hardcore than that. So that happens to you. Because a lot of booktubers, you don't know it, but a lot of booktubers look to you for that. And would be
Call
interested
so
to
much
know.
bullshit on you right
It's
now.
not, it's true!
No.
Your commenters will tell me if I'm right. And it's fascinating to know that you also feel that. That you also get inspiration from other people.
Well, of course. I mean, that's one of the reasons why you want to be involved in this community in the first place, is because you want to inspire and be inspired.
So has being involved with BookTube changed your physical habits towards books? Do you buy things differently? Do you look at things differently in bookstores? Do you shelve things differently or keep them separate differently?
I shelve things differently because I have to shelve them by size so that I can stack things on top.
Because you have more books.
Because I have more
BookTube.
books, yes. Because I have more books. But because I have the memory thing, I remember everything that I hear about, and whether or not...
It actually does, ladies and gentlemen. I've had occasion to realize this in the last day. And it's kind of freaky. It's like spending time with a Vulcan, only with better fashion sense. You expect them to be in drab gray.
And I'm
That's
also
what Vulcans-
Soviet, so, you expect the drab gray on top of that.
Yeah, so it's not just that she remembers everything, but she's ready to use it. Okay? It's the memory and the Soviet thing.
No one's ever going to talk to me again.
I don't think that's true. So, to wrap up, the absolutely quintessential question, what would your advice be? Get somebody out there in Oshkosh who's thinking about starting a BookTube channel. They've watched you forever. They may have even watched me. Had their socks bored out, but they watched you and they've seen a professional dad. The typical advice is always be yourself.
That is always the advice. And that's not bad advice. It's not bad advice. But you have to be willing to be yourself to the point where you don't care if that's going to alienate some people. Because all of us read different things. All of our personalities are for some people and not for some people. And some people going through life have more experience with that. If you have a strong personality, you've alienated a person or two in your life.
One or two.
Steve would have no idea
I
what
don't
I'm
have
talking
any idea
about.
what that means. I've never alienated anyone, much less thousands of strangers. So what are you saying?
I'm saying that you have
be
to be
yourself,
willing
but
to be yourself.
theatricalize it? Make it theatrical?
No.
Put it on stage?
No, make it yourself to the point where you say, I know that this isn't going to be for some people.
Okay.
And some people aren't willing to do that. Some people are going to say,
They
well, I'm going to do the
please
unpopular
everyone.
opinions tag, but I'm going to put a disclaimer at the front that says, well, you may not like it. It's the unpopular opinions
I've
book
actually
tag.
seen that. The thing is called the unpopular opinions tag, but I've seen that disclaimer. So you're saying your advice to those people, that 17-year-old girl in Wisconsin would be,
Don't worry about it.
don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, because no matter what you do, you will make people unhappy. There will be people who are thrilled to see that I have a glass of wine in my hand. There are people who are going to be very upset.
There
that
are people
I
who
have.
comment on it, won't there?
Yes.
There'll be people who comment that you have a glass of wine.
Yes. So there is no pleasing. I've had comments saying, I wish you would do every video drunk, which I feel would get a little bit cumbersome.
So
And then people who hate it. So you will not please everyone, and that's just as true in life.
So you might as well be yourself.
You might as well be yourself. And it's the whole reason why I got the tattoo on my shoulder. Is that you are not going to please everyone. Everyone's going to have something to say about what you're going to do. But if you know that it's what you want to do, if you know that it's what you're enjoying doing, then that will make for the most meaningful, entertaining content. You will never find it as entertaining for someone to pretend to be excited about a book that everyone loves versus a book that someone really does legitimately love, but no one's ever heard of before.
My final questions. I've said 4 of them now.
How many more finals?
Just this one. Okay. Just this one. How do you explain the booktubers who have 200,000 subscribers? What are they doing? Because you got to know that person in Wisconsin, or 10 analogs like them, they're not going to listen to what you just said. They're going to be looking at that. They're going to be saying, I want that. I want to be invited to VinCon. I want 200,000 subscribers. How do I get them? And look at you and saying, you have thousands of subscribers. How do I do that?
But I'm not, what I have isn't what they want. I have a subscriber count and a viewership that was built up over several years of people who are actually interested in what I have to say, who are here for me and not for any theatrics.
And that's better. That's clearly better.
It's better.
Right.
It's, I remember Conrad from 7 Days at Sea. Hey.
Hey! We love you.
We do.
No matter what you call yourself.
He and I were talking at one point, and he's saying, every single video I put up, I lose subscribers. Every single video I put up, I'm losing subscribers.
And yet he's one of the best booktubers.
Absolutely.
So,
but this is the thing, is that happens to all of us, and everyone will reach out to him and say, that happens to all of us, don't be discouraged. Every single video I put up, I lose a chunk of subscribers, but then over time I gain more as more people discover my channel. And I said this thing, I said to Conrad, and I stand by this until I stop doing this, you gotta show them who you are and see who can hang. You gotta be yourself in every single video and see who's still around. And that's how over time you have a viewership who likes actually what you do. It's the people who stick
that's
around.
That's brutal mathematics. That's
It's
tough.
the internet.
Personally, that's the internet. I can't imagine the blow of losing subscribers when you post a video. And yet I've heard many people tell me that.
It happens all the time, and that's the thing, is that that's, I think, the best advice you can give, is that this is going to happen. You be prepared for when you get your first dislike, because it's going to happen, because someone somewhere is going to disagree with what you have to say, and they think that's what that means.
But it isn't.
It's not.
Just for clarity's sake, it isn't.
It's everyone's right to hit dislike. They can do it all the time. I know, because everyone still finds all my grown-ass woman reads Harry Potter videos and watches every single one and dislikes everyone right in a row as a sport.
That's a tough thing.
Is it though? There are
For an 18-year-old?
Yes, for an
Putting themselves
18-year-old.
out in the world for the first time? That's pretty tough.
As an 18-year-old, I was a weird 18-year-old.
I don't think anyone's worried about you. But a normal 18-year-old, that would be pretty tough to face that.
Especially when you're there and you want to be liked.
And
you're
when
there
you
to
know
meet
that
friends.
they're disliking you without having heard your video. That's got to be rough.
It is. It is. And the
So
only
did
thing
the-
I can say is try to be desensitized to it. Know that it happens to everyone.
Yeah, so don't let it get you.
It happens to everyone. But
Well, there you
it's-
go.
Yeah, it's worth seeing it through, because you will find 10 people who you will connect with for every one person who just is there to ruin your day.
You will.
You really will.
And you'll get to know them. They might even show up at your house.
Uninvited.
And it'd be a wonderful experience. It's worth it. It's
It is.
worth it. It's just, boy oh boy, what you're talking about is a tough metric. I guess any metric is though, right? Anything is. This is just a heightened version of high school. It's, oh God, that struck a nerve. Oh God. We'll blank that part out. Fortunately, this isn't all a video, so there'll be editing. Oh my God.
I hope you all still decide to tolerate me after this. But the next time you see me, I will be on a plane back to Pittsburgh. Bye. I am back in Pittsburgh. It is actually the day after we got back. I am in a different filming location, but still in the same room that I normally film. But since this entire video is infinitely more casual than the normal content on my channel, I thought that I would make this wrap up of the whole Boston experience much more casual. It was a really amazing trip overall. We really, really enjoyed it. We liked Boston just as much, if not more, than we knew we were going to. The architecture is absolutely stunning. There is so much history, so much to do and see. I swear every corner you turn in the area that we were exploring, there's something new to see. And although if I had to do it all over again, I would not plan our weekend away around the Boston Marathon, I ended up being really grateful that we did, because we got to see just how international the city becomes when the marathon is going on. There was also an intense amount of pride that the city was feeling. We have that kind of pride here in Pittsburgh for our city. And it was really inspiring to see another city feeling that way about its residents and its fortitude, given that something so horrific has happened so recently. Not only was the city gorgeous and wonderful to walk around, but we got to eat amazing food, we got to drink amazing drinks, and we also got to meet wonderful people, friends of ours that we've not had the pleasure of meeting in person yet. And spending time with them was the highlight of the trip, absolutely. Among those people, of course, is Steve Donahue, who's featured in this video. We got to do a collab video for his channel. I will link that if you did not see it on his channel already. My husband and I had the most incredible time hanging out with Steve. We drank wine and talked until the wee hours of the morning. The day before our visit with him at Hyde Cottage, we got to walk around Boston with Steve and see the Commons and the public library, and of course, go to the Brattle, which was amazing. Seriously, if you ever have the chance to go to the Brattle, I cannot recommend it enough if you've not already been convinced by Steve. Not only does it have the most amazing finds that you can find anywhere at a used bookstore, but the staff are so incredibly warm and welcoming. So at the end of this whole experience, I did want to say thank you to everyone that we met. Of course, Steve and the other people we met, I don't feel comfortable saying their names. I don't know if they want to be included on this channel, but thank you. It was wonderful to meet you and hang out with you. And then to conclude this video, I thought I would show off some of the books that I got at the Brattle. I have a big stack of books here to show you. And I'm very excited to show you. I knew I was going to bring a ton of books home from Boston, so I brought the biggest suitcase that I owned, filled it halfway with all my personal items, and left the other half available to put books in, and was very worried that I was going to go over the weight limit. The weight limit is 50 pounds. My suitcase was 49 pounds. I'm going to show you all the nonfiction that I got, which is actually the majority of the books that I got at the Brattle. The 2 fiction books that I picked up, I'm going to save for the second part of my spring book haul, which will be posted hopefully in the next week or so. The first book is Lord and Peasant in Russia from the 9th to the 19th century. This talks about the origin and the development of the institution of serfdom, which is always something that has really interested me. The next book I got is called Petersburg, Crucible of Cultural Revolution by Katerina Clark. This talks about the intensely creative period of Russian history between 1913 and 1931. The next book I got is called Winter is Coming, Why Vladimir Putin and the Enemies of the Free World Must Be Stopped by Garry Kasparov. When I was talking with Zach, who works at the Brattle, he highly recommended this one. I have some opinions on the title already, so it will be very interesting when I get around to reading this. The next book I got is on Russian negotiating behavior. I have always found it fascinating how the Russians negotiate, and I am really eager to learn more about it. I got The Formation of the Soviet Union by Richard Pipes. Given how much I have read by Richard Pipes, specifically for my education, I was very surprised I did not own this or had not read anything from this yet. I got an art copy of March 1917, On the Brink of War and Revolution by Will England. This art copy was actually Steve's at one point, and when he saw that I had picked it up, he said something along the lines of, we have to work out a better system. So Steve, since we never discussed what that system would entail before I left Boston, just assume if a book has Nicholas II on the cover, I want it. I was very excited to find this copy of Nicholas I, Emperor and Autocrat of All the Russias by W. Bruce Lincoln, because this is a title that I'm hoping to feature on Russian History Retreat in the next few months, and this was pretty much the only book I want to cover for that series that I did not already own. There are 3 more books left to show you. These ones do not deal with Russia. The first one is called Time's Magpie by Mila Goldberg. This one is a travel memoir all about Prague. Somewhat similarly, I also got this book, Turkish Reflections, a biography of a place by Mary Lee Settle. I've read a couple books on Turkey, but of course, being me, I'm never satisfied. So I was very excited to see this. And the very last book that I'll show you today is called Rats. Observations on the History and Habitat of the City's Most Unwanted Inhabitants by Robert Sullivan. I think rats are absolutely fascinating creatures. I am not grossed out by them, not only because I worked at a pet store for a pretty lengthy amount of time, but also because I kept rats as pets when I was in high school. They make wonderful pets, by the way. They're super smart. But the way that wild rats have learned to coexist and thrive living amongst human society, specifically in urban areas, absolutely fascinates me. I have a feeling this one is going to be picked up fairly soon because it is absolutely screaming at me to pick it up. It is one of those nonfiction books, those nature-related nonfiction books that also dabble in society that I gobble up. So we have come to the end of this Boston experience video. I hope that you have enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed my time and really liked sharing it with you. As always, if you have any comments or questions, you can put it in the comment section down below, or you can find me a variety of places on social media. The links to all of my profiles are still in the description box below. I hope you are having a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.